So the last thing we're going to talk about today is how to build a presentation. This is something that was given to me like 8 years ago, and I loved it so much I've been using it ever since. Actually, it's more like 10 years ago now. I've been using this ever since. And what this enables you to do is build a presentation that has a flow, a beginning, a middle, and an end, much like a Pixar movie. So it's not going here, there, here, there, here, there, and it's hard to follow or impossible to follow. Some of those really bad presenter techniques we talked about earlier, what makes a bad presenter? Somebody who doesn't engage their audience right from the start. Presentations that are poorly organized and have no order or no logic to them. And they end abruptly. Okay, thank you, bye. They're out of there. So using this template will help avoid that. And I will send this to you guys all later today, so you have a copy of it. It's pretty simplistic. There's 3 sections. We've got the opening, we've got the meat, and we've got the closing. And we're going to talk about them one at a time, starting with the opening. You'll see that the opening should occupy around 10 to 15% of your total presentation time. It includes 5 categories. I'm going to talk about the bang in a bit more detail here, but after the bang, you can then give the overall theme of your presentation, kind of what it's all about. You can do that as you're sharing your credentials. Notice you're not sharing your credentials first. You're sharing them after the bang. This is who I am. I come with 12 years of experience in the technical field. With them, what's in it for me? Why are they sitting here today? Why are they wasting their time listening to you? I shared that with you earlier today at the beginning of this. I said that you are all out there evangelizing to our key people, our customers, our partners. We want to know that we have the best presenters in front of these people. That's why you're here. That's what's in it for you. And then a quick preview, an agenda. 30 seconds. Because of time, we've only got 15 minutes left. I'm just going to tell you what this means in context of this slide. The average person takes about 30 seconds to decide if what they're being told is of any interest to them. And after 30 seconds, if it's not, they're probably on their phone or they're going to get up and leave. So we have 30 seconds to get our audience's attention, rapt attention. 7 seconds relates to how quickly we as humans make a judgment about somebody. I like him. I don't like her. He's loud. She's pleasant. We make judgments very quickly. So we want to start our presentation really strongly. I know. This is how I'll start my presentation. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Manley. I'm here today with Forescout Technologies. I'd like to share with you how iSight uses single sign-on to get access to the dashboards. That was pretty fascinating, right? Riveting stuff out of the box, something you've never seen before, right? No, that's the run-of-the-mill opening that everybody uses and has people, I sound like AI, thank you. It has people bored. They're not captivated. They're not engaged right from the beginning.
Good morning. Today I'd like to talk about the causes and effects of stress and how to cope with stress.
Now, I liked how he changed his presentation, but if I was to give this guy one piece of advice, I'd say, why don't you start with something more of a punch? More of a punch. I call it a bang. Start with a bang. There's only one rule to follow with your bang, and that is that the bang has to relate to your story. For example, if you said, I saw on the news today that yesterday a World Bank was shut down for 4 hours and nobody could get their money out. Anyways, I'd like to talk to you about how we have the ability to examine asset properties and so far. Okay, what does that have to do with the bank? Nothing. So you have to make sure that your bang relates to your story. I also really encourage you to not make your bangs technical in nature, related specifically to your topic. If your topic is about cybersecurity, don't make your bang about cybersecurity. Make it something outside the box. Be a storyteller. That's my first and favorite bang suggestion is storytelling. Use a personal story or an anecdote. 2 weeks ago, I was on vacation with my family and we were enjoying the sun and the beach. And suddenly I got a call on my cell phone and I saw that it was my boss. I knew I had to answer the phone. The network was down. I had to spend 6 hours of that day helping them figure out what was wrong and how to get the network back up. I'm here today to share with you how you can avoid that same scenario in your network and your vacations. That's an interesting opening that relates to my overall theme of my presentation. So a personal story, and by the way, it doesn't have to be true. It could be an interesting story, as long as it relates and it gets their attention. Some of my favorite presentations that I still remember to this day, 15 years later, were because their openings were so interesting and engaging, got our attention right from the start. A thought-provoking question. How many of you have been trying to watch something on Netflix and your TV just does the spin and the spin and the spin, spin? How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel? If that's happening on a website, you're trying to visit a website and on a website, what do you typically do after a couple of minutes? Yeah, you go somewhere else. Well, I'm here today from Forescout to ensure that that does not happen to your customers with your website. The thought-provoking question gets everybody thinking right from the moment you sit down and start talking. They're already thinking and involved. A shocking statement or fact. One of my favorites that I remember from my old days at F5 was somebody who said, I'd like to tell you how 3 lines of code written into a program cost a company $4 billion. 3 lines of code cost a company $4 billion. That was a true statement, true fact, and pretty shocking. Gets my attention. Very short. And then a current event. It could be anything. One of my memories that I have from my last job was somebody had come from Mexico City to our training. And this was about 3 weeks after they had had a massive earthquake in Mexico City. And so this person used not just the earthquake as his bang, but the fact that everybody was working together as a community to save people who were buried by the rubble. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it because we were all so engaged in this story, hearing somebody's personal experience going through something like that. And not only did it get our attention, once he could use slides, he was sharing images while he was telling his bang. That starts your attention, your presentation off strong. In that first 30 seconds, you have their attention and they want to keep listening to what you have to say. And with that, always try to personalize your bangs when you can, when it makes sense. I'll give you a couple of examples. I've always been told that a dog is man's best friend. I believe that. And I believe that we can be best friends with Lorax Investments. A good friendship is so important, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great bang, interesting. But what if I started it this way? I've always been told that a dog is man's best friend, and I can attest to that myself, especially knowing that my dog got me through the pandemic. I'm here to forge a best friendship with Lorax Investments today. Blah, 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 blah. Just that personal aspect of it makes everybody in the audience know me more. The more they know me, the more they like me, the better our connection is. Or maybe I say, to me, family is everything. family is of utmost importance. And I want to make Lorax Investments part of the Forescout family today. Okay, that's a great story and it's beautiful. But what if I said, to me, family is so important. My family is the most important thing to me in the world. And as of today, Lorax Investments is part of my family. And I'm going to treat you guys, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. So when you can create that personal touch to your bang, it just helps you connect with that audience even better. That's the opening. Then we have the closing. The closing, you'll notice, is pretty quick. It's only 5%, so it's kind of fast. Start with reminding them, whatever your agenda slide was, here's what we're going to cover today. Bing, bing, bing. You can just copy and paste that slide, put it at the end. Here is what we covered today. Boom, boom, boom. Why was this important to you? This was important because I told you we want you guys to go out and evangelize for Forescout. We want you to present like the best presenters in the world. And that's why we spent this time together today. I would really love to come back and do a proof of value, maybe in 2 weeks. How does that sound to you guys? You want to get that follow-up and then a nice closing bang. I want to ensure that on your next family vacation, when you're in the sun and the sand with a beer in your hand, you are not going to get a call from your boss because of your network. And then simply say, thank you very much. I've seen so many presenters where they end their presentation, okay, well, that's what I've got for today. That's about it. So if you have any questions, let me know. You can reach out to me. But other than that, okay. So, all right, we're done. And the audience is kind of like, okay. They want to clap for you, but you're not letting them. You're making it difficult. When you simply have a nice, quick closing bang, which, by the way, does need to tie in with that opening bang, and then you say, thank you very much, you're going to get that applause. And when that closing bang ties in with your opening bang and the overall theme of your presentation, we now have a story. We've now told a story, just like a Pixar movie. I'm going to do something really quickly here before we wrap up. I'm going to test your memory recall. I'm going to be asking you guys I'm going to be giving you 2 numbers. No pens, no paper, no writing down, no typing anything. This is all from memory. I'm going to give you a number, and then I want you to then repeat back the number in the chat window. All right? But not writing it down until I've told it to you. Here's your number. 2681739. Chat window. Almost everybody. Fantastic. Your memory recall is amazing. Let's test it again. Since you've done so good, test one more. Again, no pencils, no paper, no nothing. Here's your second number. 472-963-4587. Chat window. It's not bad. So studies have shown that the average person can take a 7-digit number and put it into their memory immediately, their short-term memory immediately. But anything beyond that, the second number was a 9-digit number, is too much for the average person. For most people, what does not happen is they remember the first 7 digits and then they can't remember anything else. That's not what happens. For most people, what happens is once it gets too many numbers, then they forget it all. They've lost it all. They've lost everything. But I want to point out something that Lyle said. Lyle got 47293, and then he couldn't remember anymore. A lot of times what happens when people can't remember everything is they usually would just remember one part. That part being maybe the beginning. They might remember the beginning. Keep that in mind. So what we see happen quite often in a lot of our presentations that we go to is here's my agenda. 10 things, 12 things, 15 things we're going to cover today. We have so many features. I want to teach you every feature we have. But just like a long number, after I've gone through the first and then the second and then the third, the fourth and the fifth, then all of a sudden it's all gone. They don't remember the first two or three. It's all gone. And their boss asked them later that day, hey, how was that presentation from Forescout? What did you cover? I don't know. He's going to send me the PowerPoint later. Once I see the PowerPoint, I'll let you know what we covered. Because they really don't remember. It's too much. So I've already covered this. But again, if there's too much and they've lost it all, what do people typically remember the most? The beginning and the end. All right, my hands. They typically remember the beginning and the end. They may not remember anything in the middle, but they remember the beginning and the end. And that is why a strong opening, a good, powerful opening with a good bang and a good closing, they'll still remember you favorably. Still a good presenter. I just don't remember what he covered. So what I encourage is trimming down that agenda. Let's focus on 3 key things. I've talked to the customer. I've done my discovery. I know what's of utmost importance to them. So I'm going to talk about our benefits, how to use policies, and our dashboards. That's it. I'll cover those 3 things in detail. I'll use demos, whiteboarding, storytelling, you name it. And the odds are, when that employee goes back later to his desk and his boss says, hey, what did you guys cover? Well, we did policies. He showed us dashboards. They're going to remember a lot more what we covered. And that is why you'll see in the meat section of my framework, I only have 3 topics. And each one of those topics, you're going to use your style and your sparkle along with the substance. So we're going to do demos, we're going to do whiteboarding, storytelling, you name it, whatever it is to share these 3 topics. And you might say to me, you know what? I don't know. I really want to cover everything we do. I want to cover all of our features. That's fine. You can cover all 10 or 12 topics, but just know that the average audience may leave remembering none of them. Would you rather have that or cover 3 things well and have them leave remembering all 3 very well? You choose. It's up to you. And that is the presentation format. Again, I'll send you a hard copy of that so you can use it. I encourage you, when you're going to do a new presentation, don't go into PowerPoint and just start creating slides. Create a framework, map out what you want to share. What is your story? And then you build slides to tell your story. That's how you create a great presentation. And so I'm literally, oh, this is amazing. This is exactly where I was this morning, 1 minute after the half of the hour. That's freaking unbelievable. We're going to go right into another presentation. I know that. I hope that in the next couple of week and a half that you guys have left, you see a lot of good presentations. Now you know what kind of feedback to give. When you're giving your feedback, give the feedback of what I told you to look for. Feel comfortable doing that. I want all of our presenters, not just you guys. I want all of our presenters at Forescout to have some of these qualities. I thank you for your participation, for your input, for everything you've given today. And I look forward to the next couple of weeks. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris.
I was waiting for a big round of
Thanks, Chris.
applause, but that's okay.
It feels weird to
All
applause
right,
on
all right, thank
There you
you. Head
There's
off
a
to
round of
another
applause.
meeting, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Christian. Good stuff.